Welcome everyone, today we have a new homing guide for Lost Ark. As you can see behind me, we have the latest nodes for homing to 1385, 1400 and also 1015, which is a work in progress. So in this video, we actually have a new Excel that is updated with new features which allows you to dynamically adjust your current level and also target level of your items. And this will be calculating how much gold, lipstone and also guardian stones, destruction stones it will cost you with your current server rate. So basically you can enter over here with the market rate, and this will calculate the cheapest method, the pathing that is for you to upgrade to a certain level. Let's say if you're going for 1370 to 1385, we have different path method and you can compare those path method. Notice here we have some comparisons from 1385 to 1400 as well. So I'll be showing you guys a number of methods for going for 1385 from 1370 and also to 1400. And also over here we have a work in progress to 1415. We'll be going through a lot of nodes, and also want to give you guys a brief summary as well of everything. So we have the Excel, we also have the rates from MacroGG, and also we have additional guides and also sources from Reddit and also YouTube, which we can briefly talk about as well, with different method and also what I recommend with different method and also other recommendations from the community. So this video will be broken down into multiple parts. The first part, I'll briefly talk about the reasonings why we upgrade selectively onto different levels for different pieces of gear. On the second part, I'll show you guys the latest Excel, which have more features for this selection and allows you to see how much saving of gold and also item you will get by doing this method. And finally, I'll give you guys a summary of the rundowns of what I recommend for each of the levels for the fastest and also cheapest method to do this. And we'll briefly talk about the guides on the community, of course, and how should we approach for the next tier level to enter the Agros part 2, part 3, and also be prepared for the next update, which will be 1415. Now, similar to all of the videos, the notes over here and also Excel can be found in the links below. For the Excel, make sure you make a copy by clicking on the files and select make a copy. This is the best way to make the copy of this Excel and to be able to use it for yourself. So let's briefly come over to the notes and I'll talk to you guys what is happening, why we're using selective method for 1385 and also 1400 first. Now if we come over to the rates for MacroGG, you can see that for the weapon from +8 and onwards, it will cost us 14 lipstones. So let me try to highlight those. So from the weapon, it will cost us 14 greater on the lipstones and also 16 greater on the lipstones from +8 to +11. And from +12 onwards, it will cost us 18 greater lipstones. Now in comparison, if we compare this one to the armor over here, you can see from +8 to +15 onwards for the armor, it only costs us 10 and also 12 greater on the lipstones. So there is actually a big disparity between the weapon and also between the armor. And this is why we want to be selective. It is much cheaper to leave the weapon open and not to upgrade on the weapon with a higher cost of lipstones. It is actually much cheaper to upgrade on the armor over here. And it's also more selective within armor, because some pieces of the armor will give us higher damage compared to other pieces of armor which give us more defensive capacities. So depending on the role of the characters we play in, most of us are DPS characters that we want more damage. Other characters like the supporting characters might want to go for the reverse route to get more defensive capacities with chests and also pens, which we'll talk about. Now leaving the weapon at a lower level means we are actually progressing to 1385 and also 1400 much faster, because we're saving a lot of great honor stones and also we're saving the destruction stones and using the guardian stones. This might not seem a lot, but remember guys, the success rate is like 30% and 15%. So as the more you fail, the more lipstones you kind of save, because you don't just pay 14 or 12, lipstones for one upgrade. You're paying multiple attempts, and those attempts stacks up. It is actually, like 50% more costly to do the weapon. And this is why this method is the cheapest and also the fastest method to get you progressing into the game. Now, one of the questions we do have with regards to not leveling up weapon is that don't we lose damage for not having a higher weapon? Yes, we will lose damage. And I do recommend coming over to this video from a comment over here who talk about having the weapon over +15 will give you greater boost of damage. But the loss of damage is somewhat compensated by homing for a specific armor that give us higher damage. I'll show you guys over here as well with my item set and also how it works. So I should have left my weapon to level 11. So this is before I knew about the method. I'll be homing for my gloves and also my shoulder to plus 14 for 1400. Notice I'm leaving my other pieces of armor at plus 11. And notice that I'm getting a much stronger strength boost, which will boost my damage. So this is my current damage at 1400, and this is being more selective with my pieces, which I'll talk to you guys about on the third part. Now that we know the reason of being selective with armors and also pieces of gears, and also consider not leveling up the weapon too high, let's come over to the latest Excel. And a big thank you and big shout out to Chaliia, who's been updating this one and working with me for making this Excel wonderful. Now there's a lot of features with Excel. If you guys haven't seen it, we have the upgrade for 1300 to 1370. We have the latest update. We have different calculators, and you do come over to the latest updated calculator over here. What you can do is you can enter the current market value. I do believe the current market value have dropped a little bit, so I'll just be quickly updating over here for the current market value. This will actually reflect, oh, this actually went up. So this is actually very dynamic. It allows you to adjust for the current market value, and this will be calculating about the prices. Don't worry about the tailored materials because they are not available after 1370 at the moment. Now what you do is you select which resource you're getting items from. For the destruction stones and guardian stones, we usually buy from the market. For the honor shards, we usually don't have to buy them. For the lipstones, we usually get them from the Mari Secret Shop. Not many of us actually buy from the from the market. And also for the fusion materials, I buy them from the market. And for the enhancement materials, we can pick from the Mari Secret Shop, we can pick from the market. Then this will reflect. If you guys haven't seen our previous video about the comparison of weapon crafting, do come back to that video, which I explain more details. What we'll focus on is this part, the expected value calculator, which is a new feature that is added. So let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, that's too much. So let's zoom a little bit and let's come over here. Now what is happening is most of us will probably be plus, let's go to level 6 over here. I think level 6 is a good start. So most of us will be level 6, and this will give us 1370 because you first transfer item onto this stage. Now the first stage, your target goal is to get to plus 9 of everything, right? Because if you get plus 9 of everything, you'll get 1385, and this will be the goal initially. What did I select? Okay, so notice that by selecting your target level for all pieces, this calculator will estimate the gold cost of your items. Notice it's much more costly to get weapon to plus 9 compared to other pieces. And you can see the estimation of lipstones will cost you, and also the guardian stones, destruction stone, it will cost you. For the sake of simplicity, over here, I have made some comparisons that I want to show you guys. So instead of me doing this live with recording. So you can see from 1370 to 1385, the normal method would cost us about 36,000 gold on my server with the current market rate. Now if we change this to the next part, if we change the method into upgrade the weapon only to 8 and also chest and pants to 8, other items to plus 10, this will cost us around a little less. So you can see over here, this is about 2,000 in terms of gold saving. So from 36,000 into 34,000. And we're also saving a lot of lipstones. So we're saving at least, 10 lipstones. And also we're saving on the guardian stones and not using as much destruction stones. So this is the first step of comparison. Now the similar method also works after we get to 1385 to 1400. Notice the normal method is to go plus 9 to plus 12, and this will likely cost us about 74,000 gold in estimation in terms of value of materials. But if we compare this one to the other method, which I want to share with you guys, so this is the weapon plus 11, the helmet plus 11, and chest and also pants 11. What I'm doing is shoulder to plus 14 and also gloves to plus 14. This is what I'm doing with my account, but at the time I didn't know about this, so I actually got my weapon to plus 12, which cost me a lot. I don't recommend this. I really do recommend this method because you can see the cost comparison difference from 74,000 into 69,000, and you're actually saving a lot of lipstones. So you can see the lipstone saving and also the destruction stone saving. Now, because the calculator is available, you do not have to just follow my method. You can play around with your own method and also to see how much it will cost you and how the things works. So this is quite wonderfully. You can dynamically adjust everything to see how it works. Now, just before, I let you guys go and play around with things, I do want to show you guys some crucial factors. It is much more costly after to get the weapon to plus 11. So this is why I recommend getting the weapon to plus 11, because over here it will cost you 16 lipstones. After 11, 12 and 13 will cost you 18, 14 to 15 will cost you 20 lipstones. So this is something you want to be aware as you play around. But the numbers will show you, so which is quite nice. And over here you can see that for the armor, to get to plus 11 is quite cheap. To get from plus 12 to plus 15, it is also very similar in terms of cost. So you can play around with this a little more, knowing this is a fact. Now, as you play around with the calculator, you might be wondering, why would I go for helmet or shoulder? Why do I go for pants? And why do I go for, chest and also for other pieces of the gear? So just to give you guys a quick summary, the highest damage boost armor item will be the gloves. After the gloves, it will be the shoulder. And that's why I have been upgrading those two items as my priority. After those two pieces, the highest damage giving will be the helmet, followed by the pants and I think the chest. And if you want the highest defensive capacities and also the highest HP and also survivability, you go the reverse. You probably go for chest, pants, helmet, shoulder, then gloves. So this is the reverse method. Now this is one of the reasons why over here I went for gloves and also shoulders to plus 14. Because it is evenly costly for each of the pieces of armor from 11 to 14, but there is more bonus of damage if I go for gloves and also shoulders this way. Now, in case playing around the Excel and also trying your own numbers is not the thing for you, I do have a small summary over here to help you guys to have a roadmap of what I recommend for upgrading for the fastest and also the cheapest method. So 1370 to 1385. Now normally people do plus 9 to everything, but you have seen in the comparison over here, plus 9 to everything is not the cheapest. So what I recommend is to go for plus 8 with weapon, chest and also pants, and also to go for plus 10 for gloves, shoulder and also helmet. And this will likely to save you at least 2000 gold, and this will save you a lot of lipstones, which means it is cheaper and also faster to do this method. Now after we get to 1385, we go for 1400, which will usually suggest us to go to plus 12 to everything. But before you do that, what I recommend is going for plus 11 on weapon, chest, pants and also helmet. And then go for plus 14 on 2 pieces if you're the damage dealer of your type. If you're a supporting character, you can, instead of going for gloves and shoulders, you can go for chest and pants for the highest survivability for plus 14. So for me, I do recommend trying this method because this will again save you over 4,500 to 5,000 gold depending on your server price. Now because we're using a lot less lipstones and also the guardian stones are much cheaper on the servers, this is one of the reasons why this method saves so much gold. It is also recommended around the community to try the other method, which is the 13, 12, 12 and also 11. So 11 is the weapon, the 12 are the pieces of armor, and the 13 is one piece of the armor. But notice that this method is very similar to my method, that I leave most things at 11 and go for something for 14. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is, notice that from plus 13, so this we're coming over to armors over here, right? So notice that from plus 12 to plus 13 and also 14, the cost over here, the difference in cost is not much great. The only difference, the lipstones are not changing, the fusion materials are not changing, gold is not changing, slight change of silver, and also slight change of the guardian stones, and also the honor shards. So there isn't that big of a jump. But what we're getting out instead of trying the community's method is, we're getting a greater damage boost by selecting the armors that give us the highest damage. You can do this for the shoulders and also you can do this for the chest and the pants for more survivability as well. So it is slightly cheaper, but I believe we save like 50, 100 gold by doing this way. But this one will give you more damage once you get to 1400. And this is one of the methods I'm doing right now for plus 14, plus 13, and sadly I did get weapon to plus 12. I didn't know this. This will stay on plus 12 for a long time. Now, in case you guys are going for 1400 to 1415, which is a work in progress, because I did not recommend, I'll talk about this very soon, I don't recommend going too fast too early until we get the latest content. The standard method will be getting everything to plus 15, but from the community, I guess what the community is having a popular method is to go plus 17, 17 on 2 pieces for the highest damage, and then go plus 13 and plus 12 on the other pieces, and finally for the weapon stay on plus 11. So this is the community's method. And using this method, what I do recommend if you guys are trying at this stage. So stay on plus 11 for weapon, stay on plus 12 for chest and pants, stay on plus 13 for helmet, and try for plus 17 for gloves and also shoulders. This is again because we know there's a greater damage boost, and plus 16 and plus 17 still give us 10% success rate. The cost of upgrade materials will go up, but the increase of item level will also go up. Now, because this is a work in progress, and personally I do recommend staying on 1400 for a while, because until the next content comes with 1415, there isn't really a rush. And while we can be selling materials, we can be getting more items once we have the new event and also new update that comes out. So Homing Excel also haven't updated for 1415. What you're going to see on the Excel is, because at the time we only have rates up to 15, the rates should be going for plus 20. So we haven't updated this one for beyond 15. And once you try to go beyond 15, the numbers won't show, right? In the meantime, we'll be updating the Excel for you guys as we work on it, and as we look into different rates and also different chances to go from 1400 to 1415. Now, while I was looking for different upgrade method, I do come across this Reddit post from Civil over here, and he also shows his own method of upgrading. Now, it's quite important that I share other methods because I don't want to just tell you guys this is the best. I do think my method is the cheapest and fastest while balancing for higher damage. So the balance over here is I'm trying to give you guys high damage at any stage of the game while having the cheapest by leaving the weapon at a lower level. Other methods might do something similar, so make sure you also check out those other methods. And for the YouTuber over here, Chaliia over here, he does talk about the weapon upgrade and why it's quite important to also consider upgrading the weapon. But I still feel like upgrading the weapon will be very, very costly. So personally, I will try to stay my weapon on plus 11. And because it's already on plus 12, I won't be touching this after, until I get over 1415. And even after that, I might not be touching this a lot. So this is my personal preference. I will lose out on some damage. So definitely hear him out about losing damage if you get weapon after plus 15, which would be very costly in terms of lipstones. So over here, just to show you guys, you can see that the lipstone cost for plus weapon to plus 15, 16, you can see this goes to 20, this goes to 22, 24. So the increased cost of lipstones is something we need to be aware of because it is much cheaper. Notice the armor only costs 14 and 16 to get to 16 and also 17. And for me, I do prefer the cheaper method as we go higher levels with the weapon. And this will also allows me to be faster if I do plan to go 1415. Now, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I try to break this video into multiple parts to make it more concise and also to give you guys more information. And again, a big thank you for Chaliia, who's been helping me updating and also working on different features of the Excel. And this makes things much more clear. You get to see how much gold you spend, you get to know your market price. It's so dynamic, it's so flexible because everything you can adjust accordingly. You can also adjust for the Mari shop values. Now, if you guys are not sure how to use the Excel fully, I do recommend watching the previous video, which will give you more guidance of the comparison of the weapon efficiency and also armor efficiency, which will also tell you when is it worth it to use your special radar materials, or when should you be buying items from the market and also Mari Secret Shop. So there's a lot more calculations and also more methods to use Excel than just the calculator over here, which is the latest feature we have added into the Excel. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so, because we'll be getting a lot of guides, a lot of tips as I discover them, and I love the game. So I want to share as much as I can with you guys, and let's have a great time in Lost Ark as we explore this game and get the most out of it.